welcome back to Ragamuffin Garage and part 2 of the Sterling 10 1/4 swap. Now, granted, most of that work's done and we saw that in the last episode. I left off, we had the drive shaft and tires left to do. Well, it is about a week after Thanksgiving now, and it was deathly cold here in Virginia. So I did all of that work off camera. This is a little impromptu because of how cold it is, but I decided I was just gonna slap these in. I have one tire on, the other one is about to go on. Drive shaft fits. I probably could have had another inch put on, but there's enough engagement for this. It's not a particularly high horsepower motor. But I am just threading these caps in. Got a new U-joint, and we should be good to go tonight. Have the drive shaft in now. Everything works just fine. A little bit of a wobble, about 55. It goes away as you accelerate. And other than that, there's not too much to complain about. For tires, we went with 31 1050 15s. These are the tires I already had on it, but fit the 15-inch rim. They're 15 by 11 Pacers, I believe, if I didn't clarify that in the last episode. A little bit more about the truck, since we're going to be featuring it so heavily this episode. This is my first vehicle. It's a 1993 F-150. I got it when I was 16. I originally had a 5-liter V8. This is still a 5-liter V8, although it's not the original one. I had rebuilt it over the summer. This is out of an 86 Thunderbird with heads off of a 97 or so Explorer GT40P, cam out of the same truck. Shorty headers from Summit, about the cheapest you can get. Burns through that one spark plug wire like a bitch. Moving to the inside, behind that 5-liter V8, we have a ZF5 out of an F-250. Minus a little grind going to the third, sometimes it has been flawless. Truck had about 138,000 miles on it when I bought it. This episode will probably roll over 180. So 40,000 miles in 5 years ain't terrible. Other than that, it's just your standard long bed, standard cab truck. Running boards got from a junkyard. Bumper and whole front fascias from a junkyard, if you would believe it. Not the Weston bumper, but the lower XL bumper and grille and headlights are all junkyard. Original paint with some weird ass patina. And has been a reliable beater and my pride and joy for the past 5 years. So the plan for this episode is I'm going to be working on getting everything ready to be taken down this weekend. I'll be leaving, getting a trailer, and we're going to go get one of my project cars. More on that later. First, though, we have to rebuild a carburetor and then pack this truck up to haul everything we need for this little weekend extravaganza I'm planning. Ideally, we should get to work on at least 2 of my project cars over this episode. It is the next day. You joined me on a very rainy, miserable day here. But let us get started. First off, we have to do something with this. This is off a 78 or 9 F-150, 351 modified. I need to rebuild it. I already rebuilt it once, then it sucked up a bunch of bad gas and proceeded to malfunction. So we have this. We have a couple of parts carburetors around here somewhere I need to bring with us. And we have the famed high-grade rebuild kit. So I'm gonna get everything gathered together, chuck it all in the truck, and hopefully we can set up someplace a little bit more dry, because hell if I'm working in this. I didn't really manage to film this in a cohesive manner, but here's me tearing it apart and throwing it back together in quick succession. Like I say in one of the clips, it's for a plow truck. So I'm not too worried about it functionality-wise, and in the long run, I'm just going to buy an Edelbrock for it. So I have it broken down loosely now. I don't know if you can see inside, but it shouldn't be green in there. So we're gonna clean this all out. Sorry it isn't more professional filming. I only have so many hands and I am dealing with limited space at the moment, but for right now, we're making progress. So I know this is a little disjointed, but I have it roughly cleaned up now. Now, I know this is not ideal. This is not the best job that I could do, but it's for a plow truck, and frankly, I don't care that much. So I'm gonna start getting this back together. All right, we are done with it. I deem it good enough. If you can't tell, a little change of scenery. We're back at the storage unit. Gonna pick up the other things I need for this expedition. For one, we have a gas tank there. I picked that up on Marketplace, 50 bucks. Got 10 gallons of gas still in it. Good sending unit, like brand new tank. So we need to grab that. That's going in the 79. Need to grab that because it's not mine. And then spark plug wires, and I'm sure I'll find something else. Well, one small fuel spill later, and we are good to go. Everything loaded up nicely. Now, pretty much, I just have to wait a couple days. It is Wednesday today. I leave on Friday after work to go get the trailer and then head down to where my project car is. So I'm gonna make sure all of this is secure and doesn't leak, and then I will catch up with you when I pick up the trailer on Friday. Good morning. It is Friday. I have everything ready to go. We are just waiting for time to kill and me to get off work. However, I ran into a small problem when I came out to put my jacket in my truck. One of the welds on my ladder rack has snapped clean through. Now, granted, I welded this rushed in the rain with a flex core welder. It was not ideal circumstances. I'm not surprised, but this has nothing to do with my welding ability at all. I want you to know that. So I'm ratchet strapping this down. I believe I'm going to weld it back up this evening or tomorrow morning once we are down at our location. But for now, it'll hold for the 100 miles or so we have to go. Alrighty, it's about that time. We are on our way to go get the trailer, about 70 miles to go. So I will see you when we get there. Well, I couldn't film immediately picking up the trailer, but we got it. It feels like I'm pulling a lead sleigh already. My fuel economy has gone to shit, but we're making progress. I believe I have about another 50 miles to go. I'm debating crossing a mountain or going the long way. I believe I'm going to go the long way. But per usual, progress is being made. Alright, we made it here safe and sound. No issues really, other than timid drivers. And we will be back tomorrow morning. I'm really excited to show you what all I have planned. Good morning. It's the next day. We have a couple things to do before we get too far along. I'm in need of some repairs and some other stuff will get done. So let's get started. So if you notice something about my truck, it sits down a little bit in the front, which I was pretty sure these were F-150 springs I had put in the front, but you can see the shock has almost no travel at all, just sitting. So we are in need of new springs. That being the case, I know of a certain F-150 that has some springs sitting around in it. And you know, when people leave things unattended, anything can happen to them. The other thing that needs to be taken care of, as earlier mentioned, is this broken weld, which made it down all wrapped and strapped up, but I don't feel like dealing with that for the rest of the trip. So yesterday I went out and purchased myself a new toy. We're going to be cleaning that up and re-welding that this morning. And let's begin. First, we have to unhook this trailer, which weighs like 2,300 pounds. It's ridiculous. So I will get this all chalked up and then the truck moved. So stand by. Alrighty. We got that done. It's still like 29 degrees out here, so I think I might go inside, warm up for a moment. But then we can get started ripping these springs out. And I was just kidding. This is my buddy's truck. It's a 95, and those springs were actually mine originally. He took them, I took his, and his collapsed. So I'm taking mine back. And hopefully that will lead to a nicer ride on the way back. Leading to our next subject, right down there is what we're here for. We'll get a closer look at that in a little while. All right, we have them both out. You can see they're pretty much identical sitting next to each other on the ground. I can guarantee you that one sits about an inch higher. And I'm not quite sure why that one was sitting so low. My only guess is somebody took a torch to it at some point. Alrighty, I got the other one out. And I do believe my good buddy is due for some spring towers. That one's got a hole in it there. But the other side is even more special. We have an auxiliary brake line hole because the one is rusted through so bad, and the rest of it is not far behind. Right. It drives like it should. I took it on a quick test around the block, make sure everything shakes out all right, and it seems perfect. It's sitting up about an inch higher like I thought it would. So now it's time to weld. You already know we have the Harbor Freight Special, and I'm going to cover all of the truck and tarps so nothing too bad happens. Unstrap these ratchet straps and see what mischief we can get up to. not perfect. Nothing ever really is with my stuff, but it'll tack back together good enough for now. I can't really get to the backside with the grinder, so like I said, it'll have to be good enough. A little bit of backstory on this rack since I'm doing it. I picked this up for 125 bucks from a crackhead in Maryland with an ostomy bag. He was very keen on showing me. It was originally about 5 inches taller. We shortened it, took out one center post so I could have my opening window there on my camper shell. And I don't know, it's had it maybe 6 months now, and this is the first problem I've had with it. Otherwise, it's obnoxiously heavy, coated in lead paint, and pretty badass in my opinion. That we have two pieces of metal that are connected. It may be ugly, but it's strong, I assume. Seems to be connected. And with a little bit of paint, you would never know the sins I've committed other than this video. Did have to sacrifice a tarp for it, but I'm glad it wasn't my paint. And now that the truck is taken care of, we can move on to the real reason that we are here. That thing. This is my 1987 Volvo 240 wagon. Picked it up for 750 bucks about 2.5 years ago. It was driving on its original 4-cylinder at that time, but it had multiple issues. We had 3 or 4 different motors for this car built and ready, and then changed our mind and sold them. Currently, it is sitting empty. I plan to put a 302 and a T5 in it in an upcoming episode, so stay tuned for that. But first, we got to get it to its better resting place because we are about 2 hours from where I live at the moment, and I need it closer than that. So, that's why we're here. I have to wait for some help to get here to get it on that, but then we should be well on our way to getting it to its new home. The inside is nothing terribly fancy. It was originally a blue interior. I swapped it out for black carpets. It was originally an automatic. I have manual pedals in it. Other than that, it smells like Volvo. There is a massive hole under this fender that I patched with various license plates. And I am ready to see this thing back on the road. I'm not sure where it is at the moment, but somewhere I have the gauge cluster for it, which has a tachometer out of a speedboat that I retrofitted in place of the clock. So I don't know about you, but I'm super stoked to get this thing back on the road. While I wait for Forrest to get off, I'm going to check all the last little things I need, like fluids, and all of my bolts are tightened down. So I'll be back when he's home and we can get on our way. Hello, we are back. This is my good friend Forrest and the one who's going to be helping me and my unpaid labor. He's the one who gave me the car so generously. And a little update on the situation that we find ourselves in. There were, as you remember, 2 cars blocking the Volvo in. The Ranger, which we've already moved, and this Subaru, which has a dead battery and a flat tire. And rather than charge up a battery or try and jump start it, we decided we were going to haul it up the hill. But now it's stuck in neutral, and we're going to figure out a solution from here. I'm pushing. Let me help. Why does it have to be uphill?
this driveway.
Okay. That flat tire makes it hard. Alrighty, we got the Subaru out of the way. So now it's time to extract the Volvo. The Subaru rolled into the garage slightly, so we gotta tug it back out. He's getting it ready. And away we go. Bonk. And we are good. Alrighty, now it's time to move my truck, which the key is now stuck in the ignition. My ignition's being weird, hold on. And we're good to go. Alright. Off, parking brake off. I ran over the wheel chalk. Right about there. This way, when we pull the car out, if it falls, it will hit something before it falls into the lake. Alrighty. We have truck number 1 in position. Truck number 2 pulling down now. That, the Volvo is loaded and we are shortly on our way to my father's house, which is this thing's new resting place. Not too much heavier. The car probably weighs less than 2,000 pounds right now. And we're going uphill right now in 4th gear and not really struggling all too much. Really nothing to remark. I will check in soon because we're gonna need gas. Literally could not have said that at a better time. Because I need gas, and I think I can fit in there. Alrighty, I am filled up. We're just about ready to go. Forrest is airing down his tires because his coworker set him at 80 PSI and he was gonna die going off the road. This cute little Mustang just pulled up too. That's just an added benefit, but we're making progress. It's a little tight, windy through here, so I'm not gonna film too much, but once we get out on the main stretch, Forrest is going to get behind me and take a nice time lapse. So see you all for that, and after he gets done fixing others' errors. Isn't that just a majestic sight right there? Alrighty, we are cruising right along. Yes, I'm taking up both lanes. This trailer is massively unwieldy, but we're making progress. So pause. I don't know what that cop was thinking sending me up here, but I had to fight my way through about a mile of one lane traffic going the wrong direction, and some people trying to tell me they weren't going to back up when they saw me coming. We made it through, but it was a massive slowdown and a pain in my ass. Alright, we are pulling into town now, just a few more miles to go. We got trapped in horrible traffic and diverted by cops off the main road because of an event, and I had to yell at a lady because she wouldn't get out of my way. But now we're just cruising along, and I will see you before we attempt the feat that is my father's driveway. Alrighty, the descent begins. We're in 4 high because this is ridiculously steep. This whole rig together weighs about 10,000 pounds, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know how the stock F-150 brakes like that. But we're in first gear, just crawling along. The ZF5 really helps the towing ability of this truck. All in all, it didn't sweat towing up the hill, or any hill really. But the final challenge is going to be the sloping turn that is the very end of this driveway. But I think we got it. We're just trucking right along. Of course, still behind me, helping out, but overall, it's not a terrible trip. We're getting up to the final steep part of the driveway now. Here we go. We're gonna stall out in a second. Okay, we are having issues. One moment. It's about here you see me stall out, but observe Forrest completely sliding sideways trying to get going again after my own 4-wheel burnout, launching it in first gear up this hill. I'm not messing around when I say this driveway is not for the faint of heart. I wish I could have gotten that on film. We did a 4-wheel burnout, but here we go, baby! Alrighty, I don't know if I need momentum or torque for this turn. And this is the one I was talking about. Here we go. We're gonna make it. Yes, we are. Oh my gosh. First gear for the win, I guess. I'm glad I have this transmission. This is ridiculous. This is the big part I was scared of too, getting this trailer up here, but in the end, it's okay. With that and the smell of a little bit of clutch, we made it. Forrest is pulling in behind. We're gonna get this thing unloaded and the trailer off. Well, in a massive trend of events, I'm now towing Forrest up my dad's driveway because he broke his drive shaft because it was that bad. I was not downplaying how much of a trial it is. His carrier bearing is destroyed in his truck, so I'm hauling him up the road to forgo any additional damage. I also have to run out and buy a new tire for the U-Haul trailer because I put a hole in the side of it. So this night is just getting better and better and better. Good morning. It is the next day. Yesterday turned into a bit of a shit show. Long story short, Forrest is okay. His drive shaft is okay at speed. He made it home. But I didn't get home after dropping the trailer off after having a new tire put on it until after 11 last night. So we're out here now. We're gonna try and put a fuel system all in this thing and have it running today. It's probably going to be a separate episode. This whole episode was seeing if the Sterling axle I put in would explode, and it did not. It got us here and has been perfectly reliable. I am stoked that it did so well, and I have zero complaints other than a little bit of oil consumption problem, and that's my own fault because the piston rings aren't sitting. It got the Volvo here, and here it will stay until I can get an engine for it. But for now, I'm going to end this episode here, and I will see you in the next one where I am putting a fuel system in that truck. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.